The night was quiet on Vega Outpost. The stars hung still in the black sky, and the planet below shimmered with faint lights from human settlements. Most people were asleep, unaware of the danger approaching their small colony. Captain Ethan Cole walked slowly through the halls of the main building. He felt a chill, though it was not from the cold. Something deep inside him told him that the night would not stay calm. He stopped outside the control center and looked at the blinking lights on the walls. Lieutenant Laura Bennett was sitting at her station, her fingers moving quickly over the console. She did not notice Ethan at first, focused on monitoring the communications channels. Ethan stepped closer and spoke softly. "Everything normal, Lieutenant?" Laura looked up and smiled briefly. "All quiet, sir. Nothing unusual on the radar. Just a normal night." She turned back to the screens, checking satellite feeds and sensor readings. Ethan nodded and let her work. Across the outpost, miners slept in their quarters. Engineers rested after long shifts repairing machines and maintaining the colony. Outside, the security team patrolled quietly. The outpost had walls and a few small defense turrets, but no one expected an attack. The humans believed the Krell Dominion was too far away to bother a small outpost. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the walls, filling the corridors with an urgent glow. Ethan's heart jumped. He ran toward the control center, where Laura's eyes widened in shock. "Captain, multiple ships entering orbit. Fast. They're not sending any signals." Ethan's mind raced. "Krell," he said quietly. His voice had no fear, only focus. He tapped on the screen, trying to identify the ships. The radar showed dozens of unfamiliar vessels moving in formation. They were fast, too fast to be detected earlier, and their energy signatures were strange. The communications system buzzed. Laura tried to send a message to Earth Command, but the signal failed. "They're jamming us," she shouted. "Captain, we can't call for help." Ethan's jaw tightened. "All personnel, defend the outpost. Activate all turrets and shields. No one leaves their station unless ordered." He ran toward the security room, barking instructions as he went. Outside, the first Krell ships appeared in the sky. Their hulls were black and angular, glowing with strange lights. Ethan watched as beams of energy shot from the ships, striking the outpost walls. Explosions ripped through buildings, sending debris into the air. Miners and engineers screamed, running for cover. But the Krell landed soldiers who began moving through the outpost, attacking anyone in sight. Lieutenant Laura stayed at her console, trying desperately to keep the communication system alive. "Captain, they're tearing through the eastern wall. Turrets are down," she cried. Ethan reached her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Focus, Lieutenant. Keep trying. Don't stop." His voice was calm, but his eyes scanned the room for any way to turn the tide. Outside, human soldiers tried to hold back the Krell forces, firing rifles and grenades. They fought bravely, but the Krell were stronger, faster, and armed with weapons humans had never seen before. Ethan grabbed a rifle from the wall. He ran toward the eastern wall where the fighting was fiercest. He saw Private Jason Miller fall, hit by a Krell energy blast. Ethan returned fire, moving carefully from cover to cover. Around him, the air smelled of burning metal and scorched walls. He could hear screams and explosions mixed with the steady hum of Krell machinery. "Captain, they're heading for the control center," shouted Sergeant Lily Owens, appearing beside him. "If they take it, it's over." Ethan didn't hesitate. "Then we make our stand here. Everyone fall back to the center. Hold them at all costs." The soldiers regrouped. They fired every weapon they had, slowing the Krell advance. Ethan saw the alien soldiers moving with precision, their eyes cold and unfeeling. Humans fought with courage, but for every Krell that fell, Timur took its place. Inside the control center, Laura was still trying to send a message to Earth. Her hands shook, but she refused to stop. "Captain, maybe if I get the relay online, maybe they can still hear us." Ethan nodded, though he knew it was a slim chance. "Do it, Lieutenant. Whatever it takes." He fired at Krell soldiers trying to break through the door. Sparks flew as energy beams hit the walls. The humans were being pushed back, inch by inch, But no one gave up. Outside, the Krell commander shouted orders in their alien language. Ethan didn't understand the words, but he understood the intent. They wanted death, destruction, and fear. He felt a burning anger. How could anyone be so cruel? Vega Outpost had not threatened them, not even once. As the Krell breached the control center, Ethan gave one last order. Everyone, fall back to the inner chamber. Shields up. We hold here. Soldiers and engineers ran, dragging the wounded with them. Laura continued typing furiously, her screen flashing with errors and failures. But still trying to send the message, the Krell broke through the outer walls. Ethan fought hand-to-hand with alien soldiers, striking with the rifles and dodging energy blasts. Sergeant Owens covered his back, taking down enemies with precise shots. They moved through smoke and fire, desperately trying to reach the inner chamber. Laura shouted above the chaos, "I've got one chance. I'm sending it now." Her hands hit the final keys, and a distorted signal shot toward Earth. The message was short. Only a single word survived the interference. Attacked. Ethan caught his breath, looking at Laura. "Good work. You saved their chance to know." He felt no relief, only rage at what the Krell were doing to his people. The inner chamber was the last defensive position. Turrets lined the walls, and a small energy shield flickered weakly over the entrance. Humans gathered there, wounded and scared, but ready to fight until the end. Ethan checked everyone, nodding at their grim faces. Then, the Krell entered the chamber. Ethan fired again, taking down two soldiers before they could reach him. Lily Owens screamed as she was struck down by an alien blade. Ethan felt a pang of grief, but he could not stop. Every human around him fought with everything they had. Minutes passed like hours. The humans were exhausted, their weapons running low, but they refused to surrender. Ethan fought side by side with Private Jason Miller, who had miraculously survived, and they pushed back the Krell, slowing their advance. Finally, the Krell commander stepped forward, his armor glowing. Ethan faced him, rifle raised. The alien spoke, and though Ethan did not understand the words, the threat was clear. The Krell wanted them all dead. Ethan raised his voice, shouting to the humans, "For Vega, for Earth, fight until your last breath." The humans responded with a roar, a sound of defiance against impossible odds. The battle continued, furious and unrelenting. Energy beams lit the chamber, smoke choked the air, and the sound of explosions filled every corner. In the end, the outpost fell. Ethan was struck down, blood running from a wound across his chest. Laura was beside him, holding her console as the Krell moved closer. She looked at Ethan with tears in her eyes. "We did our best, Captain." Ethan's lips curved into a faint smile. "It's not over. We made them know." His words trailed off as darkness claimed him. Outside, the Krell soldiers finished their destruction. Buildings were burned, the walls reduced to rubble, and the survivors were gone. Vega Outpost was silent. The humans were gone, leaving only scorched earth and broken machinery behind. Yet, far in space, a faint signal reached Earth, distorted and barely readable. One word repeated through the communication channels, echoing in the ears of the commanders and leaders. Attacked. Earth would remember Vega Outpost. Earth would respond. And the Krell would learn that attacking humanity had consequences far beyond what they could imagine. The message from Vega Outpost reached Earth hours after the colony was destroyed. It was weak and broken, barely readable. The word attack repeated over and over in distorted signals. At Earth Command, alarms rang through the halls. Officers ran from room to room, trying to find a clear signal. Satellites and scanners confirmed the terrible news. Vega Outpost was gone. Every human there was dead. Admiral Karen Holt, one of the most respected leaders of the Terran Defense Fleet, sat at the head of the command table. She looked at the data streaming across the screens. Her face was calm, but her eyes were hard. She knew that the attack was not random. The Krell Dominion had sent their fleet on purpose. They had killed every human at Vega Outpost without warning. Commander Ryan Carter stood beside her, studying the radar readings and the fragments of the signal. He shook his head. They came so fast, and no one saw them coming until it was too late. The Krell are stronger than we thought, and they've broken every treaty we signed with them. Karen nodded slowly. This is not just an attack. It is a message. They want to show us that they can kill humans without fear of consequence. But they have miscalculated. Humanity does not forgive, and humanity does not forget. She called an emergency meeting with the leaders of Earth's nations. In the Grand Council room, representatives spoke in hurried voices. Panic and anger filled the room, but Karen kept control. She looked at each person with calm authority. We have a choice, she said. We can either mourn the dead quietly and hope they do not attack again, or we can respond with strength. I know what we must do. We will respond, and the Krell will pay for what they did. The leaders were silent at first. No one wanted war, but the news of Vega Outpost had ignited fear and fury across the planet. Children cried in homes, families mourned, and the media showed images of destroyed buildings and abandoned machinery. Earth's people wanted justice. Karen spoke again. Activate every fleet. Prepare our warships. We will find the Krell homeworld and stop this before it happens again. Humanity will not be a victim. Humanity will act, and act decisively. Ryan Carter turned to his officers and began organizing a plan. He divided the fleet into groups, one to scout, one to attack, and one to defend Earth in case the Krell tried another strike. Every shipyard was busy building new vessels, while existing fleets were recalled from distant stations. Every pilot and soldier was assigned a mission. Meanwhile, scientists worked to analyze the fragments of Krell technology captured from Vega Outpost. Before the Krell destroyed the colony completely, they discovered that the Krell ships had advanced shielding and weapons capable of extreme destruction. But there was a weakness. If Earth could exploit it, the Krell could be defeated. Ryan studied the data late into the night. His mind was filled with thoughts of Vega Outpost, the faces of the dead miners, engineers, and soldiers. He remembered Lieutenant Laura Bennett and Captain Ethan Cole, who had fought until their last breath. He felt a burning anger that pushed him to work harder. Humanity had been struck, but it would strike back harder. Admiral Holt addressed the fleet commanders over the secure channel. Her voice was calm but firm. We do not attack blindly. Every strike must be precise. We will minimize human loss, but we will make sure the Krell understand that no attack on humans goes unanswered. Prepare your crews. Humanity is about to show the galaxy what we can do. In the training rooms, pilots like Nina Brooks ran simulations for the upcoming battles. She trained tirelessly, learning the weaknesses of Krell ships and perfecting her maneuvers. Soldiers and engineers practiced defense drills and emergency repairs. The entire human fleet moved as one organism, each part knowing its role. As Earth prepared for war, spies and scouts monitored Krell space. Reports came in of Krell fleets moving, unsure of what humans would do. Some Krell leaders whispered among themselves, worried about the speed and organization of humanity's response. Earth had learned a lesson in Vega Outpost. They were ready to act with extreme force. One night, Ryan visited the memorial of Vega Outpost in his mind, imagining the lives lost and the families destroyed. He spoke softly, though no one could hear him. We will not let their deaths be in vain. We will make the Krell pay, and we will protect humanity from now on. His eyes burned with determination. Admiral Holt convened a final briefing with the top officers. They went over the battle plans in detail. Each fleet's course, attack strategy, and retreat plan was discussed. Nothing was left to chance. Karen emphasized one point repeatedly: we are not here to negotiate. We are here to end the threat. Every human life lost at Vega Outpost must be honored by our victory. Do not fail. Meanwhile, on the streets of Earth's major cities, people gathered in quiet remembrance. They lit candles for the lost, held ceremonies, and spoke of courage and bravery. The story of Vega Outpost spread quickly. Children asked about the humans who had fought, and parents explained that humanity was strong, and that even in death, humans never gave up. Ryan and Nina worked together to coordinate the fleet's deployment. They reviewed sensor maps, studied the Krell patrol routes, and simulated battle after battle. Every detail mattered. Ryan's team discovered that the Krell had been expanding slowly into nearby systems. Unaware that Earth's retaliation would come swiftly and decisively, Karen Holt gave the final order. Fleet commanders, prepare to leave orbit. Humanity will travel to the edge of known space. We will find the Krell and end this threat at its source. Remember Vega Outpost. Remember every life lost. And remember this, the Krell will not strike again while we live. The fleet moved into formation. Hundreds of warships left Earth orbit, each vessel carrying soldiers, pilots, and engineers ready for battle. They passed by Earth's moon and into deep space, moving faster than any human fleet had traveled in generations. The stars stretched before them, and every person aboard knew the stakes. Failure was not an option. On board the Valiant, Ryan Carter looked out the viewport at the endless blackness of space. He thought about Vega Outpost and the humans who had fought there. He thought about Laura Bennett's signal, the one word that had reached Earth, and about Captain Ethan Cole's courage. He knew that humanity was strong because of people like them. Nina Brooks sat beside him, reviewing flight patterns for the upcoming battle. She did not speak, but her eyes showed determination. Every pilot felt the weight of the lives lost and the responsibility to protect the rest of humanity. They trained, prepared, and waited for the moment they could strike back. In the following weeks, Earth's fleet made contact with smaller Krell outposts. They moved quickly, destroying defenses, capturing technology, and learning more about the enemy. Every encounter showed humans the price of preparation and the strength of coordination. On Earth, Admiral Holt received daily updates. She watched as humanity's retaliation began to take shape. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked tirelessly. Civilians volunteered to assist in supply chains, repairs, and intelligence gathering. Humanity was united in a way it had not been in centuries, despite the anger and fear. Karen Holt never allowed chaos to take over. She reminded everyone that they were stronger as a united species. Humanity's response was not just revenge, it was protection, preparation, and survival. Vega Outpost had been destroyed, but its memory strengthened Earth's resolve. Ryan Carter wrote reports to the Council, documenting every Krell movement, every destroyed outpost, and every technological advantage. He carefully planned the next phase, finding the Krell homeworld. Earth would go to their source and make sure no human colony would ever face the same fate. As Vega Outpost again, the fleet passed through deep space, scanning for Krell communication signals. They intercepted transmissions of fear and confusion. The Krell realized that Earth was not a weak enemy. They had underestimated humanity for too long, and now it was too late. Ryan and Nina prepared for the final stage of reconnaissance. They knew that once the Krell homeworld was located, Earth would strike with full force. But they also knew the cost. War was not easy, and victory would require sacrifice. Vega Outpost was the first lesson. Humans would not forget. Humans would not fail. As the fleet moved closer to Krell territory, the stars seemed darker, filled with the shadow of what was to come. Ryan Carter clenched his fists. "We fight for Vega," he said quietly. "We fight for all who fell. We will not stop until the Krell are gone. Every ship, every soldier." Every pilot understood the meaning. The message was simple. Earth was awake. Humanity was ready. And the Krell would learn that attacking humans carried a price no species could ignore. The night that Vega Outpost fell had sparked a fire across the stars. Earth would never allow another massacre. Humanity would fight, and humanity would win. The human fleet moved through deep space, stretching across millions of kilometers. Hundreds of ships traveled in formation, engines glowing like small stars in the blackness. The fleet was massive, the largest humanity had ever assembled. On board, the flagship, Captain Ethan Cole's courage and Vega Outpost's memory inspired every officer. Commander Ryan Carter stood on the bridge of the flagship, the TSS Valiant, watching the holographic displays of the fleet, fighter squadrons, warships, and supply ships move like a single organism, each knowing its role. Ryan felt the weight of responsibility. Every ship in the fleet carried humans ready to fight and die if needed. Failure was not an option. Lieutenant Nina Brooks led the fighter pilots. She studied the sensor readings carefully. "Krell patrols are increasing," she reported. We might run into scouts before reaching the home world. Ryan nodded. We expected that. Keep your pilots ready. No mistakes in the fighter bays. Pilots checked their ships repeatedly. Ammunition was stocked, shields were tested, and engines were calibrated. Young pilots who had trained for this moment felt their hearts pound, knowing they might not return. But the thought of Vega Outpost, destroyed without mercy, gave them courage. Days passed as the fleet moved closer to Krell space. The humans maintained strict discipline. Running drills, repairing ships, and analyzing enemy technology, the Krell had underestimated humanity for too long. And now every human was focused on one goal: stop the Krell before they could attack again. Scouts returned with reports of small Krell outposts on the edge of their territory. Each outpost had minimal defenses, but the Krell soldiers were alert. Admiral Karen Holt made the first tactical decision. We hit them fast, strike hard, then move on. We take no chances. Every outpost destroyed is one less threat to our people. The first battle came sooner than expected. A small Krell base orbited a moon, its shields glowing dimly in the black sky. Nina's squadron moved into position, weaving through asteroid fields to avoid detection. Ryan coordinated the attack from the flagship, giving precise orders to every ship in the fleet. The first explosions lit the moon's surface. Human missiles struck the Krell defense towers, tearing them apart. Fighters darted around enemy ships, firing lasers and plasma cannons. The Krell fought back, but humanity's technology and coordination proved stronger. Every maneuver was planned, every strike precise. Within hours, the base was destroyed, leaving only burning debris. Behind, Ryan watched the reports, feeling a mix of satisfaction and sadness. Every Krell death was necessary, but the fleet had also lost some ships. Each loss reminded him of Vega Outpost, and he vowed that no other human settlement would fall the same way. As the fleet moved on, they encountered more Krell patrols. Ryan and Nina worked together to coordinate attacks. The human fleet struck swiftly, outmaneuvering the Krell and destroying their ships with superior firepower. Pilots felt the thrill of combat, but also the seriousness of their mission. This was not a game. Every enemy defeated was a step closer to justice for Vega Outpost. On board the Valiant, Ryan studied the holographic map of the Krell territory. Reports indicated that the Krell were sending reinforcements, but the humans were ready. They think they can hide behind numbers, Ryan said quietly to Nina. But we are faster, smarter, and more determined. They do not know what humans are capable of. Nina nodded. Let's show them. The fleet advanced into deeper Krell territory. Each new system brought challenges: asteroid fields, gravity wells, and hidden mines. The humans overcame each obstacle with careful planning and courage. Engineers worked around the clock to repair damage from minor skirmishes, while soldiers prepared for ground assaults if needed. The Krell began to understand that humanity was not weak. Reports from their scouts showed fear in alien voices. They tried to regroup, but every human attack disrupted their plans. The humans moved like a storm, striking quickly, then vanishing before the Krell could respond fully. One night, while traveling through a dense asteroid belt, the fleet was ambushed. Krell ships appeared suddenly, weapons firing without warning. Explosions rocked the Valiant and smaller warships. Ryan gave orders calmly, despite the chaos. Fighters, engage. Warships, hold formation. Protect the civilians and supplies. Do not let them break our lines. Nina led the fighter squadrons into battle. She darted between enemy fire, taking down Krell fighters one by one. Her skill and courage inspired the other pilots. Even in the face of danger, humanity did not falter. The battle raged for hours. Human tactics and technology proved superior. Krell ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. The humans suffered losses. But the Krell learned a lesson. Attacking humans brought consequences far greater than they expected. After the battle, Ryan walked through the command deck, checking on officers and crews. He spoke to engineers repairing damaged systems and soldiers readying weapons for the next attack. We have faced them before reaching their homeworld, he said. And we are winning. Humanity is stronger than they know. Remember Vega Outpost. Remember why we fight. as the fleet advanced further. Scouts discovered a network of Krell communication relays. Destroying these would isolate the Krell fleets and prevent them from calling for reinforcements. Admiral Holt approved the plan. Human forces split into smaller strike teams, each assigned to take out a relay. The first strike team approached a relay hidden in an asteroid cluster. Nina led the fighters, weaving through the asteroids while missiles tore through the relays. Defenses. Engineers guided the operation from the flagship, calculating precise angles to avoid unnecessary damage. Within hours, the relay was destroyed. The Krell lost a key communication point, and the humans gained a significant advantage. Each relay destroyed weakened the Krell further. The fleet moved like a shadow, leaving destruction behind but preserving human lives. Soldiers and pilots felt a deep satisfaction, knowing that every action brought them closer to the homeworld. And to justice for Vega Outpost, Ryan reflected on the human spirit. Every pilot, soldier, and engineer displayed courage and determination beyond what the Krell expected. Humanity had survived countless challenges, and now, even in the face of a powerful enemy, they refused to back down. The fleet faced several more Krell outposts and patrols. Every engagement tested human tactics and strength. The humans adapted quickly. Learning from each battle, they moved faster, struck harder, and coordinated better than the Krell could imagine. Finally, after weeks of travel and countless skirmishes, the fleet reached the edge of Krell space. The sensors detected massive energy signatures the Krell homeworld and its defenses. Ryan and Nina studied the readings. Thousands of Krell ships patrolled the area. Shields surrounded the planet, glowing like a second sun. Admiral Holt gathered the commanders for a final briefing. "This is it," she said. "The Krell homeworld is ahead. We have come far, and we have prepared well. Our goal is simple: stop them from ever threatening humanity again. Every human lost at Vega Outpost must be remembered in our actions. Every strike we make carries their memory." Ryan felt a surge of determination. He knew the upcoming battle would be the most dangerous yet, but humanity had already proven itself. They had faced impossible odds and survived. They had struck fear into the Krell, destroyed outposts, and disrupted their communications. Now, it was time to finish what had begun. Nina and her fighter pilots prepared for the first wave of attacks. Engineers checked every system, ensuring weapons, shields, and engines were ready. Soldiers ran drills, knowing they might be needed to board Krell ships or defend the fleet. Every human understood the importance of the moment. The fleet slowed as it approached the outer defenses of the Krell homeworld. The planet loomed large on the viewports, dark and imposing. Ryan stared at it, remembering Vega Outpost. He clenched his fists. Humanity would not be defeated. Humanity would not bow. The humans had traveled thousands of light years, faced countless dangers, and lost brave souls along the way. But they had gained something more powerful than fear, courage, unity, and the will to protect their species. The Krell had attacked humans thinking they were weak. Now, they would learn the cost of that mistake. The first energy beams lit the sky as the Krell noticed the fleet. The battle for the homeworld was about to begin, and every human aboard knew. They were fighting not just for survival, but for revenge, justice, and the future of their species. And so, humanity prepared for the ultimate confrontation, knowing that the memory of Vega Outpost would guide every action, every strike, and every life-or-death decision in the battles to come.